Tape script 11.31.1.
Mrs. Mom asked if I would go through all the class photos and choose the best ones. She told me she wanted to use them to make into a memory album.
Oh, cool. Can we help?
Yeah, I love to look through photos.
Here's a photo of Pizet getting yelled at by the zookeeper when he had tried to feed his sandwich to the leopard.
He told me the leopard was a man-eater and to stay away from the cage because it could jump out and bite me.
That was a great day. Mrs. Mom said it had been such a good day that she might do it again next year.
Do you remember our study group? Here's one of us working hard to review our lessons.
I remember that weekend. Wuti, you told us you hadn't made a list of things you needed to do.
I never did get that list made. Recall how Pizet was telling us that he thought it would be a good idea if we met every day to practice our speaking together?
It worked, didn't it? We all received 10 marks for our speaking exam.
Check out this photo. It was taken just before Miss Mom and Mr. Peter's wedding.
I sat next to Mr. Zowan at her wedding. He was very excited to see them getting married. He told me that on his wedding day, it had rained so much that the tent had filled with water. He said everyone had been having such an enjoyable time. They had taken off their shoes and continued dancing in the water.
I think this photo book is going to be great. My grandmother told me once that the best memories were made when something small went wrong.
End of tape script 11.31.1. Tape script 11.31.2.
1. Wuti said that he loved to look through photos. 2. Wuti told us it had been a great day. 3. Wuti told us that he had never made that list. 4. Pizet said we all had received 10 marks for our speaking exam. 5. Hing told us it had been taken just before Miss Mom's and Mr. Peter's wedding. 6. Pizet said he thought this photo book was going to be great.
End of tape script 11.31.2. Tape script 11.31.3.
1. I asked her what her name was. 2. I asked her if she liked dogs. 3. I asked her where she lived. 4. I asked her if she could dance. 5. I asked her if she had been swimming. 6. I asked her what her hobbies were. 7. I asked her if she knew my friends. 8. I asked her when she had to go home.
End of tape script 11.31.3. Tape script 11.31.4.
My neighbor Levan told me about an experience he had had last year. He said that he had been riding his bicycle home at about 7 p.m. Then suddenly, the shadow of a bird had flown in front of him. He had thought that he had run it over. When he had gotten off his bicycle to look at it, he had received a big surprise. There had been nothing lying in the road. Later, a policeman had walked up and listened to Levan's story. He had told Levan about a minor bird that had died in that area. Levan said the policeman's eyes had gotten really big, and in a scary voice, he had told Levan he wasn't the only person who had seen a ghost there. Levan said he had become frightened and cried that it was Avon.
I overheard Mr. Zowan and Mrs. Mom while I was working at the Chinese restaurant. Mrs. Mom asked Mr. Swan if he had done anything interesting in the past week. He told her he had gone for a walk in the jungle and it had been very hot. She asked him what he had done to cool down. He told her that he had found a tree that had a huge hole in it. He said the hole turned out to be a big cave and he had crawled into it. Mrs. Mom asked him if it had been dark in there and he told her had been, but that he had also found a river inside. He said that he had swum through the cave into another cave. She asked him if he had been in there for a long time and if he had been frightened. He told her he had been in there for about 3 hours, and at the beginning of his exploration, he hadn't been frightened. But as he had remained in there and swum deeper into the caves, he had become very frightened. He told Mrs. Mom with a laugh that when he had been able to see the sun and trees again, he had let out a loud cheer.
My friend Sam, who lives in the United States, told me this story about time he had experienced his first earthquake. He told me he had been at his desk doing his homework when the earthquake had started. He said the chair he had been sitting in had started to move across his room. I asked him what he had done. He said that when the floor had stopped moving, he had run out to find his mother. She had been in the kitchen cooking when the earthquake had started. He said he had found her standing in the front of the cooker and she had told him that she hadn't felt anything. Sam said that they had decided to look outside and see if there was any damage to anything. He told me that they had seen some trees that had fallen and had heard some sirens in the distance, but it hadn't been a very bad earthquake. Sam said he had seen on the news that he had only measured 5.5. He said the news also had said that although the hospitals had been busy that evening, no one had died.
End of tape script 11.31.4. Tape script 11.32.1.
Good morning, students. I want to discuss some things that will be happening at the end of this school year with you. This is usually an extremely happy time, but this year is...
These assemblies seldom give us any new information.
Shh! You really pay attention, so how would you know?
I have been involved in education for many years. In all of those years, I've never wished for a more rewarding occupation.
I wonder what he wants to tell us. Mr. Swan is normally very matter-of-fact and to the point.
Occasionally, over the past few years, I've wondered what it would be like to not come to school every day. This year, I thought about it more frequently. I've decided at the close of this school year, I will retire.
What? But you've always been our school director. It'll never be the same.
You'll still come to see us sometimes, won't you?
Hey, Wati, how often do you get news like that?
End of tape script 11.32.1. Tape script 11.32.2.
1. I sometimes eat fruit and yogurt for breakfast. 2. My team always wins. 3. I rarely talk to her. 4. Kak Kada is usually working with his father. 5. He is never happy. 6. Dada seldom shares his snacks. 7. Pisai frequently dances while listening to the radio.
End of tape script 11.32.2. Tape script 11.32.3.
Let's answer this survey together and then we can get it done faster.
Okay.
Okay, Number 1. I speak English in class. Oh, that's easy. I usually speak English in class.
Really? What about when you are occasionally paired with the boys on the other side of the room? I seldom hear you speaking English then.
Okay. I frequently speak English in class.
Here's one you can forge your answer on Pisset. I'm late for school.
Yeah, I'm often late for school. I can't deny that.
I can answer the next one for all of us. I normally communicate in English on Facebook.
Correct. I would always communicate in English on Facebook, but there are things that are sometimes easier to comment on in Khmer.
Look at the next one. I speak English with my friends. I always speak English with my friends.
Well, we have throughout this book at least.
This next one is tricky because it depends on where I go. I use English on holiday. If I go somewhere in Cambodia, I never use English.
Right. But when we were riding through Laos, we usually spoke English because it was easier.
Haha, yeah, or wave our arms.
The last one is a no-brainer. I always read books and magazines in English.
I often read in English if it's an interesting story.
Reading? Bah! I never read books in English or Khmer.
End of tape script 11.32.3. Tape script 11.33.1.
What are you going to do after you graduate, Pisset?
I'm going to a vocational college to train to be an electrical engineer.
That sounds cool. When do you start?
I'm going to start 3 weeks after the term ends.
Where is the college?
I'm going to study at the National Technical Training Institute in Phnom Penh.
Wow, that sounds great. Which course are you studying?
I'm going to study for a diploma in electrical engineering.
Why did you choose that diploma?
I chose it because I'm going to work with my cousins when I graduate.
Cool. Who do your cousins work for?
They work for a local company now, but they're going to start their own engineering company next year.
Good luck, Pisset. I hope everything goes well.
Thanks, Hyung.
End of tape script 11.33.1. Tape script 11.33.2.
Which? Asking about choice. Why? Asking for a reason or what for? Who? Asking about what person or people? What? Asking for information about something. When? Asking about time. Where? Asking about place or position.
End of tape script 11.33.2. Tape script 11.33.3.
A. I'm going to a vocational college to train to be an electrical engineer. B. I'm going to start 3 weeks after the term ends. C. I'm going to study at the National Technical Training Institute in Phnom Penh. D. I'm going to study for a diploma in electrical engineering. E. I chose it because I'm going to work with my cousins when I graduate. F. They're going to start their own engineering company next year.
End of tape script 11.33.3. Tape script 11.33.4.
1. What are you doing after grade 9?
I'm going to work on my parents' new farm.
2. Why do you want to work on your parents' farm?
I want to help my family grow their business.
3. When do you start work?
I'm going to start as soon as I finish grade 9.
4. Where is your parents' farm?
It's near the main road.
5. Which main road?
The new farm is going to be near National Road number 5.
6. Who are you going to work with?
I'm going to work with my parents, my aunt and uncle, and all of my cousins.
End of tape script 11.33.4. Tape script 11.33.5.
Good afternoon, students. I hope you had a nutritious lunch so that you can all grow big and strong.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Mom.
I had noodles and papaya.
I had fish and rice.
I had lok lak. Good. Before we begin our lesson today, I have an announcement I want to make. I am pregnant. Mr. Pirate and I are going to have a baby.
Congratulations! Yay!
End of tape script 11.33.5. Tape script 11.33.6.
Thank you. I know you all have a lot of questions, so let's settle down. Think about what you want to ask and I will call on you individually.
Mrs. Mom, when are you due?
I will have the baby in early October.
What sex is the baby? I mean, is it a boy or a girl?
We don't know yet. We will find out when we go to see the doctor in 2 months. And I have a test to see how the baby is developing.
Which sex do you hope it is?
I hope it's a girl.
Why do you hope it's a girl?
I have always dreamed of having a little girl that I can dress up in pretty dresses and teach how to dance.
Where are you going to have the baby?
I am going to have the baby at a hospital in Phnom Penh. Both of our parents live there, so it would be nice to involve them in the birth.
Who do you think the baby will look like? You or Mr. Pirate?
Well, I hope the baby looks like both of us. Mr. Pirate has a big, square shoulders, so I hope all of our kids have his strong-looking stature.
What are you going to name the baby?
We have been discussing that. If it's a boy, we agree that we'll call him Kosal. However, if it's a girl, we'll have to make a decision. I like the name Kolab, but Mr. Pirate wants to call her Kuntir. Maybe we can use both names.
End of tape script 11.33.6.